Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Sunday the 9th of April 2023, Easter Sunday. So happy Easter if you celebrate. I want to use the Swiss tarot cards here today. I'll just show you what these look like. Very kind of particular style. Let's see what the cards have to say about Easter then, this Sunday, and what energy you'll be working with. Right, so I'm just going to shuffle these. Okay. Right, so the first card is Jupiter. That's the Hierophant in the regular tarot. It's kind of interesting because the Hierophant is the Pope, basically, usually. And we have a religious holiday happening on this day, so that's interesting. Then we have the Page of Cups. And finally, the Five of Pentacles. Oh, wow. Okay, so the message I'm getting is that this is an opportunity to make peace with your own spirituality. This is something I was talking about yesterday, and this is in reverse actually. Look, the V is down here, so that's in reverse. So it's, yeah, I was talking about this yesterday. I went to a very fundamentally Christian, religious, obviously boarding school when I was 10 or 11 years old. And the things that were taught there and the things I discovered about myself, the process, it kind of left me feeling like someone had robbed me of my spirituality. It's like up until that point, it was like, you know, as a child, you go to bed, you say your prayers before bed. I always did that with my parents before bedtime. And then when I went to this school, it was like, oh, well, I suppose I don't get to be a part of this club anymore now. And I felt really like it had been robbed from me. And I felt, as a response, a childish response was like, okay, well, then I'm an atheist. You know, if God doesn't like me and the kind of person I am, because, I mean, at 10 or 11, you don't really know better. You believe what the adults are telling you, or at least, unfortunately, in my case, I did. So then I had that response of, okay, I don't believe in anything and I'm going to go the other way and just live my life, blah, blah, blah. But that wasn't like I stopped believing in a higher power. It was just like I'd been hurt and I was just childishly rejecting something that I felt had rejected me in response. So then it took me ages to like the age of 28 to get like a sense of spirituality back. And it was really like it was like a drastic thing had to happen for me to kind of even revisit that whole theme and that whole area of my life, which then once I did really became important to me. Like I do meditation, and it really helps me, and it makes me feel connected. And you know, with my intuition and all of that stuff, I felt like all of that had been robbed from me. It's so strange. So if you've had a similar experience with an institution that made you feel rejected or like you weren't good enough and made you feel hurt, basically, on this day, if you kind of revisit that topic, that theme, you'll be able to heal the wound. And that's so important. And it doesn't just have to be like I mean, because we've got Jupiter, the Hierophant, likely if there's been kind of, is it called religious abuse or spiritual abuse or anything like that, where you felt like spiritual principles were being used to harm you, then today is a day to reclaim your own spirituality, to find a new connection or a new kind of community or a new faith or your own kind of faith that's revealed to you that makes you feel connected again. And then it's about reclaiming the power that's inherently in that relationship. So also it can be work, that you can really look at a situation that may have harmed you in your working life, and you can ask yourself whether you want to accept that or not, if you want to make a change. And then I suppose it could be actual relationships with other people. So the question then is, if I feel like I've been harmed or injured by another person in my life, I'm now able to get over that hardship and pain and move on. So I think it's much more about recognizing that something isn't working for you, that it's really nothing personal in the sense that the two systems, you and that institution or person or job, just aren't a good match. It's not a good fit. And you're able to recognize that, accept it, let it go, and say, okay, I'm going to go and find something better that actually does suit me and fit me. And that process can take years, or it can be instantaneous. As in, nope, this doesn't work for me anymore. I'm going next, please, next. Exactly. I think that's the gist of these three cards. You're able to say what's next, and thank you, I'm moving on. Okay, so Jupiter, so the Hierophant is usually the representative of a religious ideology, right? And usually two monks are kind of kneeling and there's some keys. So he's got all the answers spiritually. And if you want to have a spiritual connection, it's like you go through him or he blesses you or he's able to facilitate that. Here we've got Jupiter, which is the lucky planet in astrology. So I find that amazing that in this deck, Jupiter, good fortune, is the representative of the institution. So that's what you should kind of connect with. Your own feelings and the messages you get from your own spiritual connection that's already in place, that doesn't follow any rules, you just feel it. By listening to that, you're connected, you experience the good luck of Jupiter and the freedom or the sense of freedom in your life. Anything is possible. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to follow a particular rule. I don't have to feel rejected anymore and hard done by. I am now the creator of my own good fortune. I'm the master of my own destiny here. I'm the Pope of my life. I didn't think I was going to say that today. Then we've got the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is someone who's longing for a connection. He really, wants to be in love and he wants to feel like he's not just on his own. And he's got this big cup here that's just looking to be filled. And he's in this position of almost like, please love me, please just love me. And that's because he's inexperienced. The Page is the most inexperienced of all the court cards. So he doesn't realize that he's lovable. He's worth loving. He doesn't need to kind of ask for love. He can pursue things in his life that he loves to do, and love will come to him. And it's someone, obviously, because of the inexperience, who makes mistakes and he gets hurt. And that's where I got the message of you're able to get over the hurt from an institution and leave it in the past. But the good thing about the Page is that he's willing to do whatever it takes to connect. And with Jupiter being growth and expansion and spiritual leadership, you may have made a couple of mistakes, or you may make some mistakes trying to connect to the higher realms, but those are irrelevant today. All you have to have is the willingness to connect to something bigger. And if you want that connection to work, you can have a real breakthrough there and get that cup filled, get that feeling of, wow, I'm talking to something out there and it's actually talking back to me. It's a real thing. Then the Five of Pentacles, when it's this way around, it's two people who've been kicked out of church. Seems to be a big theme on this day here, Easter Sunday. It's so funny how the cards kind of pick up on certain things. So it's being kicked out of a church and only being able to rely on yourself and your loved ones and having to make your way through the snow alone. It's a tough journey that ultimately strengthens you. With it being in reverse, there is no rejection here. You're not feeling the sting of rejection because you're looking for what's next, what's actually going to make you feel good. You're no longer looking in the wrong places. You're certain of yourself. You see that you are loving and lovable and deserving of all good things. And there's a fabulous ability here to no longer dwell on the past and what's happened, and to embrace something new and even better. Yeah, so you're really moving on. Interesting. Okay, number-wise, we go 5, and 5 is 10. And the chord card counts as 1, so that's 11. 11 in numerology is the master number of service. Yeah. So finding a connection that works, whether it's a spiritual connection, a faith that actually supports and nurtures you, a relationship that supports and nurtures you, a job that supports and nurtures you and makes you feel fulfilled. Finding those things isn't just being of service to yourself. I think that's a bit of an understatement. That is absolutely life-changing. So again, sorry to talk about myself so much, but when I then got back into spirituality at 28, I felt like I'd regained a limb that had been chopped off. Well, I'm exaggerating, but I felt like I regained a part of myself that I'd really lost. And you know, those years for me without the spirituality, they didn't go very well. They really didn't. So that was just an important thing in my life. So if there's something that doesn't fit, stop trying to make it fit and look to the better version and stop torturing yourself. Yeah. Okay, so I hope that gives you an idea of the energy here. It's a pretty big energy. I mean, these realizations and the decisions you make around this on this day can really change your future significantly. So I hope you have a fabulous day. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to audio reading with me. In my personal readings, I use the tarot, astrology, numerology, and my intuition, and I combine all of them to answer any questions you may have. To draw up your birth chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then order a chart rectification with me, please. That's a process where you send me 10 or more life events and I work out your time of birth manually. The time is important because the chart changes every 4 minutes. Once I have that, then I always call it like a blueprint of your soul, because it shows me a great deal about your life purpose and your relationships and career and travel and marriages and what's coming up in future. So if you have any questions, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. And if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share the video online. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.